You know something's up when the entire world is talking about one thing. And that one thing these days is the end of the world. So I decided to have a very direct sit-down conversation with Source about the end of the world. And I'm about to reveal to you what she shared with me, the guidance and wisdom she brought through, and how this can support you on your journey, because everyone and their mother is talking about the end of the world. And now we're going to add our 2 cents to set the record straight so that you can step into a greater level of clarity about the end of the world that we are in. Welcome to Awakening, the podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Heather Christian Strang. I devoted my life to the divine in 2008 after, this is very important for the end of the world piece, after I thought I was going to die. That's what it took for me to devote my life to the divine. And since that time, I have served thousands of women and their families in living spirit-led and living in out of the matrix health, wealth, and love. If you'd like more from me, you can go to sacred-spirituality.org, get a free meditation, a playlist, some support for your spirit-led journey. But now let's get back to what the heck is going on right now. All right, so when I noticed that everyone was talking about the end of the world, I knew that I needed to pay attention and I needed to get more clarity from the divine about what's happening. Because typically, if the entire mainstream is talking about the end of the world, what we know for sure is that it's a psychological operation. So when it stopped being just religions and just, sort of fringe influencers, I knew that there was something more going on that we needed to dive deeper into. So I was raised in a Christian fundamentalist religion. I was in that religion for 24 years. Everybody who's converting to Christianity now, I'm like, y'all, where you been? I already did that. That got checked off my bingo card. So that sort of environment that I was raised in, literally from my grandparents joined the religion in like the 40s, it was literally the end of the world. They are still saying it's the end of the world. I grew up my entire childhood. It was the end of the world is coming. If you're a part of Christianity and world religions, that's like one of their main selling points. That's the urgency. That's the like, oh my God, you need to be saved. The end of the world is coming. So been there, done that, not really. That doesn't affect me at all because I already went through that. And every soul has their own journey, and there are things on your bingo card, your karmic bingo card, that you're working through. So when we see this huge wave of people from the new age, realizing the new age was its own psychological operation, they're like rushing back to Christianity because they're trying to figure it out. That's perhaps important for their soul's evolution. But eventually you continue to wake up out of the dream, you continue to wake up out of the illusion, and that forces you to do what? That forces you to stop projecting and parentifying religion, government, major industries, and it forces you to go deeper into your own connection with the divine. So I went through those stages, right? 3D, crazy religious control, fear mongering, like all those things. Then I went to the new age where it's like anything goes and you can do whatever you want and nothing matters. Like you can just manifest and create whatever you want. And there's some truth. There's some divine truth in 3D religion. There's divine truth in 4D new age. And essentially, where we want to land is personal, sacred spirituality, which is rooted in your own personal relationship with the divine that lives within you, and the divine that exists around you. So everyone is moving through that in whatever way, right? They might start in 4D, go to 3D, then come back, like everyone is working through this in whatever unique way they need to for their own karmic resolution and their own awakening and healing. So, this personal sacred spirituality is really the key to our liberation. But how do you get humans? How do you get beings that have very strong egos and very strong opinions about what they think should be happening in the world and what this, simulation really is? How do you get them to move through those levels of evolution and really come to the state of like, oh, wait, it's not 3D religion. It's not 4D New Age hedonism, spirituality, anything goes, nothing matters. It's something so much deeper. And that something so much deeper lives within my physical being. So we're going to take, as you're noticing from my own personal story here, to demonstrate the end of the world that we're in and what that means. Because as I mentioned at the start of this episode, and this is my story, you've all, for those of you that have been with me for some time, you've been hearing me talk about this. I literally did not, literally, this is what happened. I did not devote my life to the divine until I thought I was going to die, until everything was stripped from me and I'm laying on a twin bed in the middle of nowhere, Brazil. There's no cell phones. There's no one I can call for. There's nothing there to save me. And then I went, maybe I should pray right now. Like maybe this, if I'm going to die, I might as well pray. And that prayer was me begging and also was me making a deal with the divine. And my deal with the divine was, listen, I get it. I'm kind of fucking this thing up. Like, please give me another chance. Let me live through this experience and I will devote my life to you. I will become who I really am. I will live in service, which is exactly what I did. That's pretty dramatic, right? But that is what it takes to get stubborn, egocentric humans to awaken to who they really are and what they're really here to do. Now, some of you watching this, you didn't have to go through that, right? You weren't as stubborn. You were willing to awaken before that had to happen. But my singular story is actually a testimony for what's happening. How else are you going to get the entire world, the majority of humans, right? Not everyone here on earth is human. Not everyone here on earth has an organic human soul. So we're not speaking about those beings. My work is for organic human souls. But those who are here that are organic human souls, that are the majority on earth, how else are you going to get them to wake up? You're going to have to strip everything away. You're going to have to show all the illusions, right, to everything that they have like held on to as truth. Government, religion, the military industrial complex, that the healthcare system, which is also the military industrial complex. Like, how are you going to get them to stop mommy, daddy, take care of me? Because I'm a wounded child. I haven't done my inner work, right? That's what's happening in the collective consciousness. They haven't done their inner work. Most humans not doing their inner work, attaching to these outside things that they think are going to save them. But when you take all of that away, how many of them will do what I did, which is like, maybe this is a good time to pray right now. Maybe this is a good time to get my shit together and bring my life into alignment with who I really am, which is not these outside things. I'm something so much more than that. I'm so much bigger than that. I am here for something so much more than that. That is what is happening right now. That is the end of the world that we are in. There's no other way, sadly, to get the majority of the collective consciousness to wake up unless you have all of these collapsing structures and they're seeing like, oh, all these things I've been putting my faith in. Do you know how many people have worked a job that they don't really love for the promise of this pension attached to this system that is going to take care of them? Do you know how many people are thinking that if the right person was elected into the government, then everything would be okay? None of that is true. And none of that is going to save anyone. The only thing that is going to save you and me and everyone here is to devote your life to the divine and to live in personal sacred spirituality, which is your personal relationship with the divine, whatever that looks like for you, right? I share what that looks like for me, and the souls called to me are part of my soul family. And that's been our karmic agreement that I was going to, be on this path and be sharing these aspects of remembrance, these tools, these healing sessions, so that they could come into alignment with their higher self and live their highest path and purpose. That it's going to look different for everyone. But I guarantee you, and I promise you, it is not attached to these huge systems that were created by non-human beings, that were created by beings that have hijacked the earth, that are here to distract humans from their innate wisdom, from who they really are, from the divine path that they're here to walk. So that's what we're working with, folks. So when you see things collapsing, when you see things changing, when you hear all the fear mongering, right? All the end of the world fear mongering, and you need to do this, do that. There are things you need to do to prepare. And since 2016, we've been sharing those things with you. For those of you that have been on this path with us, you know that the spiritual team that I work with, the highest light, Source herself, Mary Magdalene, and Yeshua have been like, okay, make sure you have prep stock in place. Make sure you have off-grid supplies in place. Make sure you have diversified streams of abundance. Make sure you've got, tangible assets. Make sure we've been being given the guidance and being prepared. We've been preparing for the golden age. So that's what we're doing on this path. We're preparing for the golden age. We're not preparing for the end of the world. To get to to get to the golden age, these things need to fall and collapse, but that is divine guidance. It's collapsing so that people have no choice. I'm doing it with my hands. Those of you that are on the video, you could see me going like this. I placed a post on Instagram recently this week about this. So I had this conversation with Source. I'm kind of telling the story out of order, but I had this conversation with Source. I was like, okay, so everyone's talking about the end of the world, which means it's a psyop. So tell me what is really going on. And what Source said was exactly what I'm sharing with you here. How else are we going to get people to self-actualization? How else are we going to get people to self-realization? How else is the simulation going to evolve? If the humans don't self-actualize, if they don't self-realize, if they don't make their spiritual life the most important thing, then they will continue to self-destruct. That will keep happening until they awaken fully. And then Source pointed out my own story, which I've shared with you here, that Source is like, dude, what was it for you? She didn't say dude, but the energy was like, what was it for you? What did it take for you to awaken, Christian? Oh yeah, I had to almost die. And I had nothing. I was stripped of everything that I could, court into. A man, a relationship, a person, a cell phone, all the things that could have helped me through almost dying or feeling like I was going to die. Couldn't move. I was terrified. But that was going to be the only thing that was going to get me there. There was no way I was going to be out partying and drinking and love addiction, bouncing from this person to the next. And I was going to be like, sure, yeah, I'll devote my life to the divine. It was not going to happen. It just what I was having too much fun, hedonistic fun. I was not going to get there any other way. And that's the majority of humans. So Source broke it down for me. I'm sharing it here with you today. She said, what you see happening is exactly what has to happen, or humans will keep self-destructing. So, it might go full self-destruct mode. We don't know, but we don't have to be worried about that because we are on the path of self-actualization and self-realization. So you want to stay on that path of becoming who you really are, of unifying with your higher self, allowing your divine self to be made manifest on earth in form. There is nothing better than that. There's nothing more that you came for than that. Creating from that place of alignment with who you really are. That's everything. That's everything you could possibly want and more. So we want to invite you to, when you see all of the craziness happening in the world. And when I say we, I mean myself, Source, Goddess Mary Magdalene, Yeshua the Christ. I'm gesturing here on video because they're right here in front of me. All of the highest light. When I say we, that's who I mean, because it would be silly for me to act as though this is me. My human self is coming up with all of this. No, absolutely not. This is all coming through my connection to the divine. My higher self obviously comes in that connection with source. So our invitation to you is when you see all the craziness in the world about the end of the world and like Panic at the Disco and, hurry up and run to religion, run to government, run to big pharma, run to big food, whatever it is, say no to that and say yes instead to yourself and to your own self actualization. Start a daily meditation practice. I know many of you watching have been on a spiritual path and you're not meditating daily. I love you. You got to do it. It's so important. We have meditations at sacred-spirituality.org to get you started. 11 minutes, 22 minutes. Like, just start with your daily meditation practice that puts you into greater connection with the divine that lives within you and lives around you. I know that we all want to believe it's going to be the machines. Oh, I forgot to mention that, right? People are putting their trust in the machines are going to save them. And all these external things. The only thing that is going to save you and save humanity, if there's a possibility to save humanity, but all we can do is focus on what we are in control of, which is ourselves. And then if you have children who are dependent on you, your children, all you can do is focus on your personal relationship with your source self. That starts with meditation and prayer. And then, of course, there are many other practices and tools that we can give to you that will help to support you in that process. There's also our higher self unification sessions. Mary Magdalene has come in and we've created the Way of the Rose higher self unification sessions, which supports you in resolving karma ancestrally and from other lifetimes, healing your traumas in this lifetime. All of those things are in the way, for lack of a better term, to your unification with your higher self. And then we bring your body, mind, and spirit back into balance. And that coherence for the three brains, head brain, heart brain, gut brain, allows a greater flow of your higher self to flow through you. So my work now at this stage in my journey, we're 18 years in to this spirit-led journey, is really all about supporting as many humans as possible, or as many who are called to me, in their unification with your higher self. Because through that unification with your higher self, all things are made manifest, all things are possible. I'm being shown to also share with you a recent example that I went through. There was so much talk in the Matrix about traveling, and it was crazy and it was scary, and there were all these crazy things happening. And I had to travel during that time. And I had none of that. I did not wait in one line. I did not have one negative experience. Everything was on time. Everything flowed for me. The perfect people were there at it could not have been more perfect. And the irony is that there was so much negative energy about wait lines and craziness and all these things. I did not experience those things. So I'm being guided to share that with you as a demonstration of what's possible, right? It can all be burning down around you, but when you are aligned with your higher self, you have a different experience. It doesn't mean you won't encounter bumps in the road. It just means it's different for you. It just has a different flavor to it. You are walking with the divine. That is a protection. That is a timeline loop. Glitch in the matrix. You will have a totally different experience in your life when you surrender your life to the divine and you make your higher self unification your number one priority. That's my number one priority. My abundance, the majority of my abundance goes to my higher self unification. My spiritual development is the most important thing on my journey, and it has been since 2008. Does that mean I haven't gone through hard things since 2008? No, I've had some dark nights of the soul, had a lot of different experiences as I'm breaking free of the various matrix plugins, the various systems, the old relationship paradigm, the old money-making paradigm, the old health paradigm. That was depending on how, enmeshed I was with those frequencies, that was a bumpier ride, but it still was amazing overall, because I was able to flow through it, guided by my higher self, guided by my spiritual team. So this is not like, oh, I'm never going to have to experience anything hard if I'm unified with my higher self. It's just that you will have a different experience than someone who is not unified with their higher self, right? When I look at my life pre 2008, oh, such a shit show. Like hilarious, tragic, bouncing, hopping, chasing, trying to figure it out. Now, part of that's being in your 20s, you're kind of an idiot. That's just part of the deal. It's just part of the evolutionary process. And also, there are plenty of people in their 20s that did not have the kind of shit show that I was working with because it was completely led by my trauma and my wounding. And I'd been raised in this third dimensional fundamentalist Christian religion. It was completely steeped in fear. There's a lot of truth in there. There was a lot of good stuff. Religion is not completely like devoid of truth, but it's not the highest path to God. It's not the highest path to the divine. The highest path to the divine is you, is you sitting in meditation and prayer and living your life in harmony with the earth and with your highest path. Okay, I feel like I belabored this now. You got it, right? You understand what we're sharing here. Yeah, it's the end of the world. It's the end of the world as we know it. Isn't that a great song? Um, and that's a good thing. It's happening for the highest awakening of all those souls willing to awaken. Let yourself be one of those souls. Yes, take, supportive actions for your journey, but don't buy into the fear. Don't go running to some institution thinking that's going to save you. Run to yourself, run deeper to yourself. Bring in a spiritual mentor, whoever that is for you, that can hold space for you and support you as you transform. My mentors hold space for me as I transform. Their mentors hold space for them as they transform. Really dive deep. Make your number one priority living as spiritual of a life as you possibly can. Be in service, be of benefit, be kind, be loving. Have a great sense of humor because we need it on this path. Take exceptional care of your body, mind, and spirit, and you will thrive. You will have miraculous experiences. It'll be burning down, and you'll be walking through that airport, and nothing is touching you. Like, I'm not playing with you. And I want to hear your stories because I love celebrating these miracles when we have them. And, if things are burning down and it affects you, you're going to find a strength and an insight and a clarity and an expansion beyond what you ever thought possible when you walk this path. There's that trend, like be the glitch in the matrix. Being the glitch in the matrix is being your most spiritual self that you can possibly be. Right now, the collective is, timeline looping the 40s, the 70s, we had the 60s looping in last September. They're just looping the same shit over and over again. Don't buy into it. How did your family lineage respond to World War II? Show up totally different than that. I went to, the eldest members of my family and I said, so how did we handle that? The gas rationing, the food rationing, all the things, like, how do we handle that? And most in my family lineage, they took jobs in the industry. They're like making, they're benefiting off of the industry because that's what they felt they had to do because they were in survival. Okay, so just make sure you do the opposite of that. Don't try to benefit off of the war machine. Like, make sure that that is like not even close to what you're focused on. Make sure that you're focused on your ascension and being of service and being of help in the way that you best can, whatever your specific gifts are. Like, we can do this. We can rewrite the timelines. We can have a totally different experience. My life alone is a living proof of that. Like, where I came from, what I came from, the people I came from. Like, it's unbelievable that this is the path that I'm living. And this is the path that I'm walking. And the same is true for so many of you that have been on this path. We're all like the quote unquote black sheep in our families, right? We're all the ones that were different and weird and like, oh, what's up with this girl? That's by divine design. So go deeper into who you really are. If you feel a resonance with what I'm sharing with you, make your commitment, make your devotion right now to living as spirit-led as possible, living as spiritual of a life as possible. So spirit-led means letting the spirit that lives within you and around you guide and direct you. And this is only the highest light. This is only the highest light we're working with. And you've heard me talk about that before. if you feel a resonance with what I'm sharing, if you feel a resonance with me and my path, I invite you to go to sacred-spirituality.org, click on work with me, and click on the Way of the Rose higher self unification session. These are fully remote sessions. You do not have to schedule them. This is Mary and the team, me, Goddess Mary Magdalene, Source, Yeshua the Christ, all of the highest light, communicating with your higher self and your higher wisdom. And some of my clients describe it as a reading combined with a healing. It is a healing. They let us know what the highest priorities are for you, bringing you into higher state of alignment with your higher self. They have tasked me with serving as many souls one-on-one as possible in this year that we call 2026, because the humans need it and I'm here for it. So if you feel the resonance with me and my work, go check us out and sign up for your higher self unification session. We'll get you in the healing queue. And then as soon as you gift in for the session, your healing starts. So be prepared for miracles. I have so many stories over the years of people, like the minute they hear my voice, they start sobbing. The minute they sign up for the session, things start moving in their life that weren't moving, like all kinds of miraculous things happen. Let's be the highest light glitch in the matrix together. Thank you again for listening. Such a joy, and watching for those of you that are here with me on YouTube. Such a joy to share with you and share this crazy journey I've been on for 18 years, my amazing conversation with Source, and why you do not need to be afraid about the end of the world. You just need to be empowered and self-actualize. As always, I am your host, Dr. Heather Christian Strang, and this has been Awakening, the podcast. May all light beings be free. Mwah. Love you.